Welcome back to New Day. We're learning more about what really is being described as a bizarre incident that left a student dead at a Texas Christian college. Campus police now say the 23-year-old hit a police officer with his baton, forcing the officer then to fire at him. But his friends, the student's friends, say the honor student would not do that. CNN's George Howell has more.
On the campus of the University of Incarnate Word in San Antonio, students struggle to make sense of two very different stories about 23-year-old Cameron Reedus. Friends remember him as an honor student, as peaceful and well-liked.
I've known Cameron for 2 years, and he really is one of the nicest, most caring, compassionate guys ever. Not a mean bone in his whole body.
But police say they saw a very different Cameron Reedus, one who allegedly attacked a police officer who they say fired his weapon in self-defense, killing Reedus. Investigators describe a violent 6-minute confrontation. First, they say Reedus is pulled over by Corporal Chris Carter for driving erratically.
Officer Carter instructed Robert Reedus 14 times to place his hands behind his back and informed him 3 times he was under arrest and to stop resisting 56 times.
Richard Pruitt of the Alamo Heights Police Department says the officer's patrol car captured the audio of what happened through a rear-view camera, but did not capture the actual confrontation. The University of Incarnate Word put out this statement saying the camera was newly affixed to the vehicle, but, quote, the change in temperature prevented the glue from setting, and it had fallen off the evening before the incident. Carter says Reedus continued resisting arrest, and the confrontation escalated. Officer Carter claimed Reedus was the aggressor, and he told the student 4 times to stop or he would open fire.
Officer Carter, at some point during the struggle, deployed a collapsible baton to protect himself from further attack, but the baton was taken away from him by Robert Reedus, who struck him several times on the arm and on the head.
At some point, police say Officer Carter was able to knock the baton from the suspect's hand.
Officer Carter stated that Robert Reedus then charged at him with his arm raised as if to strike him, and that's when he fired his weapon 6 times, striking Robert Reedus 5 times.
Reedus was pronounced dead at the scene when medics arrived. The victim's friends questioned the police account.
If there was no dash cam, how do we ever know what really happened that night? How do we fully know if what was said is true?
George Howell, CNN, Chicago.
George, thank you so much for that. For more on this, let's bring in retired New York Police Detective Steve Kardian. Steve, thanks for coming in.
Pleasure.
I mean, it's a tragic ending to something that shouldn't have escalated to an altercation really at all. A lot of details we don't know because there is no dash cam video. What is your take on how this transpired?
Well, Kate, it is a tragedy anytime we see someone so young die as a result of a motor vehicle stop. Yeah. But we see the chief just said that he told this individual so many times to turn around and put his hands behind his back. And 6 minutes, that's a very long time in a police encounter. That's a lifetime to a police officer that's engaged in combat.
So what does that tell you?
That tells me that this was a violent encounter. And we saw a similar case to this back last year in the University of South Alabama, in which a student was under the influence of a drug, and they exhibit superhuman strength.
And with toxicology reports not back in this incident, so we don't know really more about how do you square the fact that if you have students that know him, you have this description of him that he was a gentle boy, and then you also have a police officer who is years of experience. How did it escalate to this level? Do you think this should have ended without a gun being fired?
We never like to see deadly physical force being employed, especially in this institution on the college campus. However, when the officer runs out of options, when he's being struck with his own baton, he has to resort to deadly physical force if he believes he's about to be killed.
Does it play into this at all that we're talking about a campus police officer versus an officer with a local police department. Does that play into this?
The mission of the campus police is a little bit different. They're not exposed to as much as a police officer from a city or municipality would be exposed to. But that being said, they received the same training. He had 8 years with the police department. And there's a lot yet that has to come out. They're going to go through his history with a fine-tooth comb. They're going to go through this incident in very specific detail.
And there are reports of multiple gunshots to this young man. Does that seem excessive?
Well, we have what we refer to the Hollywood effect. We don't see that one shot stops an individual. Often, it's many bullets that are fired before the actions of any individual, especially a violent person, are stopped.
How big of a problem to the investigation is it that there is no dash cam video, that there is this story that is unfortunate, that there should be dash cam footage, but because of a temperature change, it had fallen off?
You know, we know much clearer what occurred. However, we do have audio. And as long as that audio supports what the officer says occurred to him, that's going to be a solid evidence, if you will.
What should people expect going forward? The officer's been put on administrative leave, which is standard in something like this. Where do the police investigate? How does this move
The
forward?
Alamo Heights Police Department, the Texas Rangers are going to be investigating this. The district attorney at some point will become involved. And again, they're going to go from the moment that he came on duty until the termination of this incident and look exactly why did he pull him over, how long did this encounter take place, how long were they engaged in battle. They're going to look for surveillance video. They're going to try and identify additional witnesses.
Do you have a gut sense on how this is going to turn out?
It's a little bit early, but right now, based upon the information, and should it hold true that this individual was attempting to strike him or striking him with the baton, he would be justified with the information that we have this time.
All right, we'll see. Steve Kardian, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Great to see you.